Rob Desir joins us in the studio now with a little history on why blackface, paint that some people say they use for innocent fun, can be hurtful.
Yeah, there's nothing innocent or fun about it, Candace. It's just plain dumb, so don't do it. It's a racist showbiz practice that was predominantly used by non-black performers. Now, these are some of the pictures you see here of blackface that came from CBS Sunday Morning's report. Now, blackface has a long, complex history in our culture. It was once considered a popular form of entertainment in the 19th century, but now it's very controversial. According to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, white performers mocked slaves by painting their faces with black polish, grease, and cork. They wore raggedy clothing, and they distorted their looks, language, dance, and character to depict blacks as lazy, ignorant, cowardly, and hypersexual. For many people today, blackface represents the deeply ingrained hurtful stereotypes against black people that still, more than 200 years later, exist in our society.
Any form of history that gets suppressed or repressed or erased out, it comes back to haunt. What has to happen now is a discussion, an acknowledgement of this charged, complicated, painful history.
The National Museum of African American History and Culture also explains that the comedic performances of blackness by whites in exaggerated costumes and makeup is essentially racial stereotyping at its core.
Good afternoon and welcome to another. Okay, I hear echo. All right. Good afternoon and welcome to another podcast version of Black versus the Board of Education. My name is Miss Laureen, and I am so excited to be with you all this week. But listen, before we get into jumping into recapping what our week was last week, why don't we go through and do just a short round of introductions? I'll go ahead and start with Lex.
Hi guys, my name is Lex. I'm 17 years old and I'm a senior in high school, and I'm glad to be back with you guys again.
Melissa, say hello to your people.
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa. I'm a 14-year-old freshman and I'm excited to be here.
Do me a favor, pull that microphone closer to your mouth so they can hear your beautiful voice, because you know what you have to say is just so important. Mariah, go ahead and say hello.
Hey guys, I'm Mariah, 16-year-old junior, and I'm excited for today's conversation.
Perfect. And rounding out the crew this week is none other than Miss Janice. Janice, go ahead and turn your phone or your device landscape, because we want to see all of you. There you go. Hey. Go ahead and say hello. Did I make you freeze by asking you to do that? There you go. Now unmute yourself and say hello. Okay, maybe she got stuck, but that's all right. We're going to keep it moving because we know how technology is. But we're glad to have Janice back in the building one more time because we have a lot to talk about. So last week, Jada, if you can start to share screen. So we're going to recap some stories before we get to the blackface portion of our conversation. Last week, we had an opportunity to talk with the administrator over in Osceola School District. And Lex, you had a chance to sit in on that conversation. Can you kind of recap for us what you thought about it?
It was, so to say, an interesting conversation. I want to say that we went into this meeting, with the intention of getting some good things out of it. The lady who was there with us, she already had an opinion of us in mind. That's all I'm going to say. That's the nicest way to say it possible. She explained Miss Laureen as contentious, which I had to look up because they're throwing big words out there at us, which I thought was very, very interesting. But it does mean to provoke an argument. Like, you are the type of person to provoke an argument, which is what she was calling Miss Lorene, which I thought was very interesting because Miss Lorene was very calm, very cool, down to the point. She had her facts, she had everything, she was organized. And this lady's like, why are you coming at me some type of way? And we're like, she's not coming at you any type of way. She's being professional. She's doing this, this, and this. And
well, let me just say it like this. I don't do this, this, and this. What I did was I did my research before I came to the meeting. And so when we see videos like this, it's incumbent upon us to do research on the district, right? So that was the fabulous superintendent, Dr. Pace, who decided to refer to me as contentious because she did not like the questions that she was getting. Understand that when you go in and you're meeting with folks, it is important to have all the information, right? So they sent me, when we wrote the letter, we requested certain documents. They sent me things from 1997. My question was, has this document been revised since 1997? I said, and to provide you context, I graduated high school in 1997. So I am super grown, and I want to know if your policies have been looked at since then. To which she said, well, I sent you everything I had. And I'm like, so that's a no. And so in questioning why they allowed this young lady to be manhandled on the campus, we were met with, what do you say? The wanton disregard for anybody. As soon as I said I'm calling on behalf of Black students, she got immediately pissed. So I like that, because they know from the gate, this is what we're doing. And so they will be receiving a follow-up from us. But I need you to understand that when you see things that are wrong, it's incumbent upon you to speak up. The next story that made news headlines this week, the young man wore a T-shirt to school that said Black King, and his teacher put him on blast in front of the classroom, right? And she called his shirt racist. What do y'all think about that? What do you think? Melissa, I saw you smirk.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Course. Okay. That's not racist. I don't understand how she thinks that's racist. He's just acknowledging the royalty that's in his blood, and he's being proud of who he is as a Black student. If a white kid wore a shirt to school that said White King, would the teacher have said something?
Well, she thought that she said that he would have a problem if somebody did wear White King, and she said that there should be a White History Month, and then proceeded to have his classmates kind of jump into the conversation. So now we're dealing with teacher targeting, right? Mm-hmm. What else are we dealing with? What do you think? What else could you possibly think that would go into that situation? This 13-year-old in a class full of his peers, and they described him as racist. What do you think, Mariah?
I'm looking at the date and I'm just like, ooh, and he was 13? That is crazy.
Yeah, we need a White History Month.
Ooh, White History Month.
Huh. Okay. Y'all quiet. What, Janice? Everybody's shaking their head. Yes, and y'all stop asking that. Yeah, we can hear you. What's up?
I think that that's very uncalled for, because he was a student trying to acknowledge something that is just so true and so deep, and teachers always try to undermine us. Everyone always tries to put us in this box, but he didn't even say anything. Like walking in class, it's not like he walked into class screaming, I'm a Black king and I'm greater than all of you guys. No, he just had a shirt, which was him expressing himself, like freedom of speech, like you're able to say what you want, you can wear what you want. So it's just like, what does his outfit have to do with anything you're teaching? It doesn't affect the lesson plan. It doesn't affect any of that. You just specifically targeted him because he was a Black male.
I think,
go ahead.
I think automatically, as that teacher encouraged students to also join in on that conversation, that teacher established a hierarchy, established a hierarchy as what you're doing as a young Black man with this t-shirt is demeaning to other students who don't have that t-shirt. And that wasn't that young man's intention. And I disagree with everything Janice was saying. Like, that's crazy.
Lex, What should happen to the teacher? What type of punishment should teachers incur when they encourage like the mob mentality? That's what it invoked in me. It's like the mob mentality, the same type of mobs that congregated outside of schools when they were trying to integrate schools. So what do you think the teacher's punishment should be?
Well, personally, I think that they should, one, be like investigated, and I think that they should do background checks on her, because this is obviously a really narrow-minded way of thinking. I think that the way that she came at this kid was really odd. And so for that, I think that she should maybe go through a training, not only how to deal with kids, but how to deal with Black children, because this little kid is obviously just feeling himself, he's taking pride in himself. And because she felt the need to take that away from him, I think she needs to learn how to deal with Black children. So if she was to go back into a place of teaching other children or just teaching in general, she needs to learn how to deal with Black children.
Okay.
So some type of teaching or anything would probably be it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Melissa, you want to weigh in before we move to the next story?
I definitely agree with what Lex said. She needs to go through some kind of training. If you're going to be a teacher, you need to know how to teach kids and not target kids. And going back to what she said about White History Month, the only reason there is a Black History Month is because everyone wants to act like white history is American history, and that's the only part of history. The only reason we have a Black History Month is because we were not being recognized, and still aren't to this day, but trying to get a little more recognition in the education system and all over. So to say that you need a White History Month, the history that you teach us is white history, and that's the reason we need a Black History Month.
There you go. All right. Next story. So this one is a feel-good story because I believe in acknowledging administrators when they do the right thing. This young man was sent to the principal's office because he didn't want to take off his hat because he was afraid. One, he was insecure about his hairline, and he did not want to be made fun of. So they sent him to the office. This principal, I believe his name is Jason Smith, principal of Stony Brook Intermediate, decided to go home and get his clippers. And he asked the young man, if I cut your hair, will you go back to class? To which the young man said yes. So hats off to Principal Jason Smith. We love to see it. We love when folks love on our kids because sometimes they don't have resources to get the haircut. Sometimes, instead of asking them why they don't take off the hat, we don't even get those questions. We just automatically want to be punitive. So shout out to Principal Jason Smith. So we're going to come back over here locally. We had a couple of issues pop up. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was an issue at St. Francis. But before we get to St. Francis, and you can leave that playing, there was also an issue that popped up in Stockton Unified, where they tried to pass a resolution that identified Black History Month or renamed Black History Month Indigenous History Month, to which they met a lot of backlash. And so I just wanted to put that out there. Should Black History Month be renamed?
Why?
Yeah.
Why? And it sucks because Black History Month is already February, 28 days. When we're all Black 365 days of the year. We don't get a Black History Month. We get a Black lifetime. So you're already taking away with little we have. To what? To what?
Well, and I had an issue with them renaming it African American History Month because it was founded as Negro History Week and then federally recognized in 1976 as Black History Month. I need people to let us identify how we identify. That's what I need, because I don't see it being a problem in any other communities. But for some reason, with the Black community, they want to tell us how they expect us to identify. And I have a problem with that. But yeah, so let's move on over to St. Francis. So you guys know what happened at St. Francis here locally. Let's see. Y'all know, right? Y'all know what happened locally. Okay, good. Lex, why don't you recap us what happened locally and brought us to this point, because we had a chance to also go out and support the effort at St. Francis this week. So go ahead and recap for everybody listening. Hey, Johanna, what happened at St. Francis?
So lately at St. Francis, there's a scandal going around. One of the students at St. Francis had posted a picture on social media, and they had scribbled their face out in black. They were a white student. They scribbled their whole face out in black, and they were mocking a black student at the school. The picture got screenshot and sent out everywhere. Last week, there was a protest on Wednesday because I think they are demanding that that student be expelled, although the mom is on the school board, if I remember correctly. And she was suspended, and during the suspension, she was up at Tahoe for about 3-4 days. And the students at the school are demanding change because a suspension for racist acts is not enough. And there's a history there at that school, so they really want to change that. So that's what's going on at St. Francis right now.
And while we're sitting and talking, we're not just going to talk about this story, because we actually have one of the St. Francis folks here with us today. So Kendra, if you could scoot over into the frame, and let's see if we could rename Lex real quick. We're going to put Kendra and Lex up here. And so Kendra, you are the BSU president on St. Francis campus. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us from your perspective, because we only know what, is posted on social media or what the news is saying. But as a student at that school, can you kind of give us some background on your school?
Most definitely. I think following the news that the white girl that was imitating another Black student would not be expelled, the school received a lot of criticism, as rightfully so. And to make it even more laughable, there's been many students, including myself, that sat down with administration, and there's this plan. They have a written diversity, inclusion, and equity plan titled the Racial Reconciliation Plan. And it obviously doesn't work, and it's disingenuous, and it's laughable because we're sitting down with white adults holding their hands, telling them like, this is wrong and this is why I need to be treated with respect. And then news hits that this situation hasn't been handled correctly. And now we're all just looking at each other like, wow, this is beyond embarrassing. Like, they need to do right and do better by us, considering that we've been here, we've done the work. It's always, they need someone to educate white students. They always need to be held by their hand and coddled. Like, why do we infantize the girl that done something wrong? Like, I feel like we need help. Black students need help. Why do we have to take the strong end and fix everything and give them solutions and demand that they respect us? But our white counterparts have to be coddled. Like, it's completely inappropriate and just beyond, considering we pay to go there. So
yeah. So we know that every child in California is entitled to a free and fair public education, right? But for parents who are actually paying to send their children to this school, that burden is going to be a lot higher. So you have to understand the criticism. When I pay to send my child somewhere, I expect my child to be safe, period. That means if you have little hellions running around making it uncomfortable for my children, that you make it stop. And if you can't do it, you need to get out of the way and hire some people who can. So when you're talking about, can you just tell us how many Black administrators do you have on your campus?
0. Absolutely no one in the higher ups look like me, or teachers, or anyone on campus.
Teachers either? No Black teachers at all?
No.
So you guys have a racial reconciliation plan and no Black people to help implement it? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
That is correct. Crazy. It's laughable. It is.
What? Oh, wow.
Crazy. And because there's no Black people on campus, and just, I don't know, when you're being gentle and you're doing the work, you always have to distinguish who's an ally and who's not, and it makes it 1,000 times difficult when no one looks like you. But anyone can see white supremacy in a hood, but trying to identify and pick out who's who when they're your classmates and your teachers and I don't know, people that you assume would do right by you, it's been rough to even have like an ally, like who's really here for me.
So they don't have any now, and they have never had any, according to Nicole Broadnox. So
that's
I'm curious. And maybe we can get some parents in the comments. Why are you sending your daughters to a school that has historically had some issues with racism? Or let me ask you as a student, do you think that you're getting a quality education, or do you think you have to fend off so much in order to even, survive on that campus? Like, talk to us about the climate, the campus climate.
There is a real big call to assimilate when you go to predominantly white institutions, and it is all about survival. Like, what bits of yourself can you chip off in this whole sea of whiteness in order to remain whole? And I do think it adds to the larger conversation about rejecting PWIs and stuff. But I think personally, it's really bad to say, but just all of this is building character and clarity for me because I don't know, I find myself clearer when I'm in service to others. And there's a really big call for service at St. Francis. Like there's this little minority group of Black students, like only 15 of us. And I don't know, I put myself on the line to sort of safeguard those that I can or whatever's in my capacity to do so. But I feel like moving forward, because I'm physically leaving, I'm a senior at St. Francis, but I also want to emotionally leave. Like, give myself the courage to say, no, this isn't doing right by my mind, body, and health. I shouldn't have to convince people to respect me or convince people that my life matters. But yeah, it definitely is building character and clarity because this is the white corporate America that, I don't know, I assume I'll be getting a job in at some point in time in my life. And it's bad. It's unfortunate that you have to learn it at the little age that we are, like we're kids and we have to survive. That's not right. So.
Of your 15, I know you said there's probably like 15 Black kids at St. Francis. Of those, like how many of their parents are like involved in helping, like how many parents try to get involved?
So currently, because of the outpour, we had many incidents at St. Francis. And last year, there was just this really big call that St. Francis was discriminatory and, things need to change. And that's when plans named racial reconciliation and anti-racist work, names of such action start coming to be. And we had a Black alumni group and Black parent group formulated because of that outcry. And right now, these Black women definitely are going to bat for us, for my peers and I. They're the ones that organized the protest on Wednesday. But I don't know, you take what you want to take from this situation, just about, I don't know, even being in this space, because it's very triggering. And I don't know, I guess when we all grow up, we have to make the decision if this is where we even want to be. Do you want to send your kids to this prestigious St. Francis, the institution that sits on the hill across town? I don't know, but I know that they mean the world to me. They mean the world to me, just the Black people that have came down and advocated on my behalf and sat in some Zoom meetings with me when I was tired of holding white people's hands and babying them. I have had Black women come and say, nope, That's a baby. Don't talk to her like that. This is child abuse. Leave Kendra alone. And I respect that on so many levels. So I'm grateful for them, the parents that have come and spoken up. But yeah, this is all part of larger conversations about rejecting white institutions.
Right. And I want to say for the record, Kendra is one of my BYLP kids who has never called me to come to her school because she knows I like to flip tables. Kendra was like, keep Miss Lorene away from here because I actually want to graduate and I don't want these people kicking me out of school because she know I would have came to her aid, but she didn't want me to.
The white people weren't ready. They were not ready.
But I have to say,
was a lot for them.
Melissa, do you have a question? You keep leaning forward. You look like you're going to say something.
Yeah, I do have a question. So about this incident, the Blackface incident.
Uh-oh, did she freeze? Okay. Well, she has a question for you when she gets back on the screen, but why don't we do this? Because I have a clip from your speech that you made the other day. So why don't we go ahead and play that? And I want to kind of get into it a little bit. So here you go.
Today I have an issue. There's a history of suppression of minority clubs at St. Francis. The multicultural club turned Black Latino Union, the Black Latino turned Black Student Union. Every space has been reinvented and every space has been met in opposition by the white student body. I collected statements from former Black student leaders, and in summary, St. Francis worries that if Black students have a space to conjugate, we'll all realize that we've all been wrong.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
That's
so. So, from what I take from your statement is that you all have never really had a space where you could feel comfortable to go and to congregate because it was met in opposition by the white students. Can you expound on that a little bit? What exactly are we talking about?
The Black Student Union at St. Francis is only 3 years old, like currently. Former Black leader, she was president of the Black Latino Union. She reached out to me and said she made St. Francis recognize Black History Month in 2018, but St. Francis was founded in 1940. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I feel like currently as a leader at the school that there's conversations happening over my head. I don't know if I'm articulating that well, but every time that there's progression, there's pushback, and it's not right. Like students, it's really unsafe to be an advocate to be a student advocate at St. Francis. I feel like they do everything in their power to make sure that BSU doesn't get what the Netflix club gets. It's laughable. Like, it's crazy.
When you say they're trying to make sure you don't get what the other clubs get, can you give us an example?
Oh yeah, I never heard of a club budget. Apparently all clubs have money to their name. I never heard of a club budget. I received my club roster, like the list of students that want to join my club. I received that a month late from every other 46 clubs at St. Francis. Mm-hmm. And in November, every single 46 club received like t-shirt information. I received mine in January. I think if I hadn't asked, they wouldn't give it to me at that point. If I just didn't bring it up, I would never have received that information. And it's little stuff like that, but it's all invalidating. All of it's invalidating. Like, you completely swept me under the rug when the Black Student Union, when you think of clubs at a school, isn't that like the first? And once I brought it up, it's continuously happening. And then I'm asking other former Black leaders, like, what was the barriers you faced? And why was BSU or any Black space inactive during your time? It's the same system of oppression, like the same things that are happening to me happened to you 5 years ago. Like, So then it's not a student problem. Like, this is a school problem. Like, there are conversations happening to make sure that you didn't get what you need and that I don't get what I need. Like, it's not, I feel like it's definitely beyond us and it's inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. So, when we're talking about the things that they have traditionally allowed on campus, do they allow you all to speak openly about the things that are going on, or do they shoo you away? Like, how does that process work?
So there's a white student in my class, the class of 2021, that has 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter. If you say this on campus and you're caught saying this on campus, you will be suspended. You will get in an awfully amount of trouble if you name this girl, because this girl still continues to go to the school. And I guess the Catholic version of praise dancing is, like dancing during liturgy. She's the liturgy dancer. Life is good. Life is completely good on her side. She says she don't care. But if you say this, if a group of students are like, hey, this girl did A, B, and C, and you're caught saying what she did, you will be punished. Yes.
That escalated really quickly.
It
I
did.
was not ready. I was not ready for
There's
that.
precedent at St. Francis that you may not speak on injustices that happen inside of their campus. So it's been a long 4 years.
I mean, and someone says you seem to be smiling to keep from crying. Is that what you're doing?
Most definitely. That's my coping method. Something else is just like when you're in an environment that is so like unstable and like continuously changing, and I don't know, you have to adapt to survive. Like, you try to control the little bit of sanity or a little bit of tangible things that you can control. I do that to the fullest, like,
yeah.
Because I'm just trying to make it. I only have 4 months left, guys. I just want my diploma. That's
You
pretty
said
much
what?
it.
Melissa, you're back. Do you have a question, honey?
Yes, I do. Okay, so my question was, during this incident, do you think that the student was trying to be racist, or was it out of ignorance?
I think that it's 2021. I don't know anybody else's circle, but I know my circle would be like, that's out of line. And that I don't feel like education is an excuse anymore. I heard a lot of excuses at St. Francis. She didn't know, or we didn't know, or students aren't reporting it, or I don't know, like, oh, I didn't even consider that. Like, no, people have done the work. People have educated, like, when I say, like, oh, we're helping administration, like, we're working in collaboration with teachers to do anti-racist work. I'm saying that we're on Zooms like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like, I'm saying that, like, I'm literally holding their hands and telling them what's appropriate and what's not. Like, I feel like that's not an excuse anymore. And if so, then you're wasting my time. Like, something that I do is I give a lot of empathy and compassion and understanding what someone else's situation is, but no one offers me that same amount of effort. Like, no one's like, dang, she's doing the work. Like, she shouldn't have to. Dang, that's taking a toll. That's taxing on this Black student. And no one asked me that, but it's always the white girl. Oh, I know she did something wrong, but did she know? I know she's a student, but she shouldn't get expelled because, she didn't know. Like, why do we infantize her? And I have to be the adult. I have to be diplomatic and political when I talk. I can't fully condemn one person, but I can't fully be in support of another. Like, I have to be the adult, and I don't think I owe them that. Like,
You don't.
You don't.
I don't think I should be digestible for them. Like, you have to be palatable for them to even acknowledge you. And obviously I'm talking and they're not listening. And I don't want to, like, you could choke. Like, I don't want to, that's a lot of energy and a lot of time that I'm spending doing something that's disingenuous, doing something that's just a name, racial reconciliation, a name to uphold the dignity of the school. It doesn't work. And I think I owe it to myself to not apologize for wanting to prioritize me, because they don't do it. They don't even respect me. So no, I don't think she should be educated. I feel like she knew. And there was a little line, a title or like a caption on her picture. And it was like me impersonating, and then the name of the Black student that she was impersonating. Like, you deliberately try to mock this student. So you knew, and I will not educate you.
Well, that's not your responsibility. What do they say when something happens with Black children? It begins at home. Something at home is rotten and they need to fix it. You know what I mean? I just, like, as you're talking, I hear pain in your voice. And I see you trying to mask it behind this smile. And it's the same smile that I see when I go to these different schools and these Black kids are just trying to keep it together. And at the same time, they want me to say, yeah, send our kids back, open up these damn schools. And I'm like, hell no, no, no. For what? So that I can visit your campuses more often? I've liked my little break, chilling where I'm at. But I know that as soon as school's open, I'm going to be going school to school to school to school again, trying to protect Black students because nobody else is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want to happen to this girl? Because, okay, I've seen two different stories this week. One said that picture was from a year and a half ago. Was it from a year and a half ago, that specific picture that they're talking about?
No.
Okay, so that's a lie.
That's a lie.
And then number two, they said that she's been expelled, or she has left the school, or she's no longer enrolled. They didn't say expelled. Let me stop lying. They said she's no longer enrolled in that school. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So they did do something, but do you attribute that to folks in the community getting involved, or folks in the public getting involved and asking questions, or what do you think made them finally act on it?
Most definitely. I do think it was the protest on Wednesday. It was some heat. We brought some heat on Wednesday, and I don't think that they did something. I think the girl seen that it was heat and voluntarily withdrew from the school, because St. Francis loves wording, perfect wording, that she does not attend, but that doesn't mean that they expelled her, nor did, she probably withdrew, because Wednesday, I think I would withdraw, but yeah, it was definitely the call from the community. Everyone stood up, stood their ground, because that's something St. Francis does. They convince students that they're not capable, and
but y'all pay what, $15,000? Y'all better be doggone capable of something. $15,000 to come there and be around people who can't put safeguards in place for Black students. $15,000 a year. There are no safeguards.
I had an administrator tell me, it's not my job to protect you or make sure that St. Francis is a safe space. It wasn't to me, but it was in regards to another Black peer. But that is word for word what this white person said.
Then what are you here for?
Yeah, what is your job then?
What is your reason for being here?
And Lex, just because she's sitting next to you doesn't mean you can sit there with your mouth closed. You're not special.
I just wanted to go back just a little bit, because I wanted to speak on something that Melissa said earlier about this girl. Like, was this intentionally racist? Like, what was she thinking behind that? But I just wanted to think in the bigger picture and kind of like play the devil's advocate for this. But like, I feel like Blackface like a lot of people don't know the history behind it. They just know that like, oh, this happened. I don't think that they know like the negative connotation, like all the things behind blackface. And I think that that should be taught or brought up to them, you know, bring that forward. And I think that maybe going forward with St. Francis, you know, they, I don't know, implement that in their education or something, put that in a rule book. I have no idea, but I feel like not a lot of people know the racism and everything that goes on behind blackface because they're like, oh, this happened a long time ago, you know, because they didn't have black actors, so they just put black paint on their faces.
They had
And
black actors. They were just trying to mock black people.
right.
They didn't want to pay black actors, but they had some black actors, and they wasn't even good at impersonating black
They're
people.
really
Sorry.
good.
You know what?
Wow.
I don't. This is the thing that pisses me off, and I'm just gonna be really frank with y'all. I have rarely seen black people who look like the stereotypical person they're trying to portray. I don't think that anybody looks like what they're trying to portray. And to find humor in degrading anybody is ridiculous and it's childish. And I think that there needs to, I don't think that we need to educate them anymore, Lex. That's just like this whole, oh, well, there needs to be more training for police officers. I don't believe that they need more training in police officers either. I think they pick and choose who they enforce laws with, just like administrators. They pick and choose which children to enforce policies with. And then they leave you on these campuses by yourself to where you think you have to fend for yourself or you have to fight them off. It's ridiculous. And they told you they don't, it's not their job to make sure that they're safe on the campus.
That's
Look,
crazy.
if I was a parent at St. Francis, they wouldn't be getting my damn money. How about that?
That's
My
so
child,
crazy.
they wouldn't have access to my child either. I understand, like we have all these schools and we list them in hierarchies and we say they get a really good education if they go to X, Y, and Z. But X, Y, and Z says they don't have an obligation to protect your child.
Wow.
Y'all need to start money talks. These parents at St. Francis need to start pulling their money until these people who are in charge understand that absolutely it is their responsibility to make sure that you're safe on their campus. What in the world? This is some foolishness. Woo. Y'all got my blood boiling now. This doesn't make any sense. And they know it's wrong. That's why they hide behind it.
Yep.
So I'm not giving them a pass. Nobody gets a pass. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's what they tell black people.
Yeah.
Ignorance of what's acceptable is no excuse. Stop giving them an out. Lex, we're not going to give them the benefit of the doubt anymore. You guys don't get the benefit of the doubt. We got to fix our language. This is crazy.
For a teacher to say that, like, I don't know, for $15,000, you better help me tie my shoe. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do. Not your job to, what? That's ridiculous.
Is it worth the money, Kendra? Is it worth the money spent? The perceived education?
I don't know where else I would go, but no. I think I lost more than I gained.
Be more specific. What do you think you lost?
Sanity. Whenever I have my episode down the line, I'm just gonna go ahead and forward my therapy bills and the invoice to all of that to say, like, go ahead, pay for this. Because yeah, it ain't right. And they know that it's not right. I think that's the thing that's it's making me upset because I told you that this wasn't right. Now it's just an insult to my intelligence. Like now
So why do you think they didn't listen?
I don't know, because I'm little.
You know. Why
I
didn't
do,
they listen to you?
I do know.
Okay. Why didn't they listen to you?
Because it's just me. It's little old Kendra. And I don't know. I feel like I got comfortable.
It's not you. It's not you. No.
Me. Okay, I don't know.
I keep telling y'all there's a power imbalance. There is a power imbalance on your campuses. So they can ignore children. They can ignore adults writing checks.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I'm glad that the parent group is up and running now.
Yeah.
I'm glad that your alumni are tapped back in because they know about their experience on the campus. Now it's time for y'all to collectively do some things. Because again, with that power imbalance, kids can come and talk to them all day and they just be like, yeah, okay, I check off this box. I listen to the kid talk about whatever they were complaining again. I don't even know if they're taking notes. They should be, or you should be every time you go and talk to them jokers. Make sure you notate that so that when, the lawsuit eventually comes, which I hope it's in the works, you guys can show, on this date I came to talk to you and this was your response. On this date I came to talk to you and this was your response. It's documented, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, they can argue with a lot of things. They can't argue about their inaction when you have it documented.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not you. Please, please, please don't ever look at it as, I didn't do something or I didn't say the right thing. It's not you. It's the adults in charge who feel that they don't need to listen to kids. And y'all are the ones experiencing it.
Yeah.
So what do you want to see happen?
I want a Malcolm exit. I want everyone to be scrapped. Everyone is inadequate, inept. Go ahead, fire them all. No, I don't know. I think I'm counting down the days, and I'm really praying for the incoming Black students and students that are, that are anticipating staying and being current students at that campus, because at this point it's just survival. It's just small fish gets eaten by big fish. And
that's heavy, yo. That's
right.
heavy.
And I don't want them to make me bitter. Like, I want to do the work, but I'm just
What work do you want to do? Hold on. What work
I'm
do you
just
want?
brain fighting right now because I don't know. They beat me over the head with the stick. Like, give me a tangible solution. And I, to be honest, I don't have one.
Wait.
I don't even know what I'm going to eat tomorrow.
Who?
I don't have one.
Who?
Administration.
They told you to give them a tangible solution, and they're the adults?
Oh, yeah. They asked the students. Students have to educate their peers, tell them what's,
But they the ones getting paid to be there.
Racist, not racist. But so, yeah, I think I'm emotionally tapped out, and I don't have a solution. I don't. I'm just
not your job.
That doesn't make sense to me. Like, if we're gonna call out the problems, then they're gonna throw the problems back at us for us to solve. That doesn't make any sense. Like, what's going on in their heads? Like, how are they processing this? We're out here like on the front lines,
front lines.
Like, you're on the front lines. You only have like 15 people who look like you at school, and they're expecting you to go out there and deal with it. Then when you come back to report to them, you have to come up with how you're going to defeat them. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. This is just me going out of what I just heard, but
it doesn't make sense to me either. Yeah, so I don't have any sanity right now because I don't have a solution. And yeah.
I just think it's insane. I think it's insane. Go ahead, Melissa.
They're the educators. They're the educators. How are they asking students to educate other students? You're an educator. You're a teacher. You teach the students. You tell them what they're doing wrong, because whether this was on or off campus, this is still your student. So if you aren't teaching them what's wrong and what's right, then this is partially your fault. It's not my job as a student to teach the students that you should be teaching as a teacher, as an educator. That's not a student's job.
Mm-hmm. And I do agree that it starts at home. Like, I don't know what's going on in their home. I definitely don't care. But those
are two different situations. You got the responsibility of the administrators who are on your campus, the administrators and teachers, and then you're talking about the students and what should be happening at home. That's two separate things. So, but the people that are at home, those are not the ones you giving your money to make sure you have access to this campus to get this so-called great education that you're going to leave with scars. Like, you trying to survive a place that you paying to be? I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but my goodness, it's not your job to come up with solutions for these people. Listen, you're going to have to step aside because I'm about to send your administrators a letter, and we're going to get involved. I know that at the protest, you had Leah from Impact, Miss Allegra from the Village was also there. I saw Miss Sonia from Black Justice Sacramento. I saw some folks. Mr. Conrad was out there. You have a lot of people that are ready to get in the game and to protect you all. What do you need from the community at this point? What do you need? How can we better show up and protect you so that you're not just surviving on campus? What do you need from us?
All eyes on St. Francis. We need that pressure. I think they think they're moving and nobody else can see. Like, they could lie and say, oh, this picture came out so and so months ago, like a year ago, when it didn't. It came out 2 weeks ago. Like, they feel like they have the power to lie and to get over on people. But if we're looking at you, I don't think you could sweep that under the rug anymore. So I feel like it's all eyes on St. Francis right now. And I think I would like it to be that way. Like, they can't take a wrong move or a misstep. They can't retaliate. That's something that is coming up a lot with students. Like, oh, I'm scared to attend the protest or to speak up, like following Wednesday and following the student leaving. Like, there's still fear to speak up and fear of retaliation. So if there's eyes on them, they can't do that. Like, okay, you sue, we sue. We see you. And
so I hear what you're saying in the broader context, right? Keeping eyes on St. Francis, but right now I have my eyes on you. So what can people do to support you? Because again, we see you trying to smile as you're telling this stuff, and we also see that it's some pain behind your eyes. So what can we do to support you specifically?
I don't know. Let me get back to you. No one's ever, I want to note this because this is important. No one's ever asked me, So I think that's really my hesitancy, or I don't have an answer because no one ever asked me. I think that's important to note. Because it's some trauma out here, but I don't have anything to offer. I don't.
You don't have anything to offer whom?
Someone else to support me. I don't know, Miss Lorraine. I don't know. I don't have the answers. Y'all got me on the hot seat.
It shouldn't be a hot seat. This is a warm seat. This is a warm seat. This is a seat with intention and asking you intentionally how we can be supportive of you. Because like I said, you never called me about any of this stuff because I'd have been at your campus a long time ago. So now that I know what's happening, and I'm very, very partial to you, how would you like us to show up in this space? Because right now you have your sisters who are on the call with you right now, who will, I'm sure of it, love to stay in contact with you and support you in that way. But what is it that, and you can tell me later, but I need you to be thinking of how we can make things easier for you.
Yeah.
Because you're one of a couple on campus, one of 15 in your class, or how many total Black students do you guys have at St. Francis? I thought it was something like 40, but my math.
There's definitely 40 students. I was exaggerating, guys. No, there's 40 students, and like 15 in each class.
Oh,
is my number?
If it's 15 in each class, that's more like 60. That's more like 60. So 10 in each class. Girl, pull it together. Pull it together. So about 10 in each class.
Pull up that calculator.
Yes. And somebody just said you need some allies.
Yes, we're here for you.
I got you.
We're right here.
What's going on at 6 Black Girl Support Network, Black Boy Support Network? We got you. We got allies. We're here for you.
Look at her! Look at her giving out some announcements too. She's like, look, you need to make this call every Monday at 6.
She got her advertising.
That's right. Go ahead and put that out there. Go on and show her your shirt, Melissa. Go on and show her the shirt. Go on and show her the shirt. Because, you know, we take care of our booths. We know what's going on campuses.
Okay.
So every Monday at 6, Black Girl Support Network, go ahead and get connected with them, because there are a lot of teenagers just like you all who are experiencing things within their schools. And that's why we actually put this in place, because not only were you experiencing a hostile education environment, but when COVID happened, you were dealing with isolation and trying to figure out, you know, how to connect with other folks that were like you. And so those things are in place for you. But we want you to know that, one, we're very, very happy that you joined us this week. If you want to come and join us again, I'm sure they would love for you to come and be part of what we're building here. But we need to make sure that we're not sending you someplace where they're going to retaliate against you. I'm very, very serious about that whole retaliation thing. You know, we'll show up at your school. I don't have any problem showing up at your school and talking to whoever. Matter of fact, who is it? Mr. Elias, I'm coming to see you. Mr. Javier, somebody or other. What's his last name? Javier something.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? What's his name?
Dr. Javier Watson. You got me out here naming folks.
Javier Watson. I knew his name. I just don't have a paper in front of me. I'm definitely coming to see him. Anybody associated with that reconciliation plan, I don't understand how you reconcile relationships without Black people at the table. I'm coming to see you about that document. The Black Parent Group, we've been in touch with them. We've been in touch with your Black Alumni Group. So we will stay involved in making sure that certain protections are put into place for the people who are spending $15,000 a year to make sure their daughters are educated, and they have to learn survival skills because the adults on campus won't protect them. We're not having it anymore. And so just know that if something comes up, you call me, you text me, you find your way back to my office like you did today, and we will come out swinging. I know Lisa will agree with me. She'll come there, and Jada will be there, and even Miss Selena Valencia will be there. So it's important that you guys do not let this stuff get swept under the rug. If there's something going on at any campus, in any school, whether it's Zoom or in person, if there's anything going on that you want somebody to put some eyes on, please, please, please contact us. You can go to our website, bylp.org. You can call our office, 916-513-7959. We are here to make sure that Black children are represented, that they are protected, and that we step in and start taking some of these blows so they can be children and not feel like they have to come in and educate adults. So I think we have like 2 minutes left. So Melissa, do you have anything you want to add? And then we'll go to Mariah, and then we'll close out with Lex.
Yeah, so I've been reading about Blackface and how some people, there was this one scandal with this one celebrity who did Blackface for a Halloween costume. I don't remember who it was, but someone was like, oh, everyone's overreacting about being offended by this. And I was like, no one's overreacting. The same people who are telling us that we're overreacting about Blackface are the same people who think we should be over slavery. And to them, I say, no, we're not overreacting. When you put it, any way you put it, slavery was wrong. Ethically, it was wrong. Whether it was legal or not, it was wrong. People should not be owned by other people. We did not mock our slave masters. We did what they thought we were supposed to do. We did not mock them, so why are we being mocked?
Mariah.
I just want to support you. Like, I never even met you, but like, I just want to like find different ways to support you, because like like that comment was saying, like, I can tell you're smiling through your pain. And it's just like, you know, like BSU, like I want to find ways to support you. I want to find a way to be there for you, to help be like, you're mirrored on my side, but maybe I can be on your right or your left or something. I want to be there for you. This is crazy.
Lex.
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us, Kendra. That was amazing. You know, I don't think I could do what you're doing right now. But at St. Francis, I'd be like, get me out of here right now because people are crazy. Like, get me out. It's not worth it. And I think you're super strong, and we're all here for you. You know, everyone's said it multiple times, and we want to be here for you. Appreciate you coming on, and, you know, Black Lives Matter.
Well, Black lives do matter. Black children matter. And we're serious about our kids. We don't play when it comes to the protection of our children, just like they don't play when it comes to the protection of theirs. And so I just need everybody to understand, if we receive a complaint, we are coming. So expect us, because we'll be coming to see you. And so with that, you know, I know every week we like to tell everybody bye at the same time. So on 3, let's hit them with that wave. 1, 2, 3. We'll see you later. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.